And, in my work in East and Southern Africa, I've been to many, many, many latrines, and they can be in a real bad state. One is solids build up. As a result, children fear using them. We've had testimonies in schools where young children, 4 or 5 years old, who were potty trained, but upon seeing the loo with the maggots and all, they actually revert back to not being potty trained because they're just too scared to use the loo.
Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Mwangi Monday. Happy new month. We just started the month of May, and I'm having a conversation with Anja about her journey, but I know now we're going to just try to get into how she got into water and the facts surrounding water issues. Yeah, so you've been 2 years in Tanzania, you come now to Nairobi or Kenya where you've been here for 26 years. So what are the issues surrounding water? And I loved one thing that you said is that the people knew how to get the snake out of the car. So I think people know the issues around water, but I don't know whether you want to mention some of the facts surrounding the water situation in this part of Africa.
Sure. One of the approaches I've always and continue to take is that people have their solutions within themselves and within their communities. And that's why I've never believed in a donor-driven or outside-driven push for so-called development, which can be very disastrous. In Kenya, we have over 50% of people not having access to safe and clean water.
That's such a huge number.
I mean, if we're looking at 52 million people, that's 26 million people. And that's Kenya alone.
Access to water.
Yes, not safe
clean
water.
Clean water,
yes.
Clean and safe water.
Yes. And then, of course, the majority of them have to walk very far to get water. 2 kilometers, 5, 10, 15. And then when you get your jerry can, your mitungi of water, it's brown, it's got worms, it's got microbes that you can't see. So, it's a very real thing. And yet at the same time, where I've seen so much hope is we were working in a community in Machakos, and it was a water project. And once the community had water, they did everything else themselves. They built their own school. They got teachers from the government. They built their own police post. They got police from the government. They started their own irrigation project. They started, growing their, especially fruit trees that do very well in Machakos. Water is just so basic.
It's life.
And you imagine,
water is life.
Yeah, you imagine waking up and you have no water. Yeah.
You see, I've gotten into this habit because of listening to you so many times of celebrating the water that I have. Honestly, to God, because 50% is too many people. That's 26 million or 25 million people who don't have access to clean and safe water. Yeah. That's a tragedy just by itself. I don't know how many years after independence, but that is so wrong. Yeah. And so, sometimes you think, can we do anything? One of the practical things that we want to do, because this is Governance Monday, is find ways to help people solve their water issues. I know we have Revive as a water solution. I'm sure the contacts will be provided, and there are many others. But we've got to solve water problems. Whenever you go back to your village, to your community, we must solve water problems, and we're not waiting for the government. We have to do them because those statistics have to change, and also celebrate the water that you have. I just find I'm very careful with water as well, because even when Teresa will come and she told me there's no water in prison. So one of the prayers I make every morning is, please let the prisoners find water today, because it's not. Now I have to add also the 26 million people, let them find water today. Yes. Because it's really hard. I can't imagine without water. First thing I do is brush my teeth. I need water immediately I wake up. I need a lot of water. Yeah. So I can't imagine having to do life without it. And for that community, then they came awake and alive just because there was water.
Amazingly, yeah. And there was their own plan. What we do is we sit down with the community and we help them envision their future. What would you want in your future? How would you like this community to look like? And how do you want to get there? And 99% of the time, water. Either access to water or the quality of the water that they have. So, we talk about access and then clean and safe. Yeah. And I distinguish between clean and safe because you can see water that is clear and clean, but may not be safe.
It has microbes in it.
It may have microbes. It may have chemical contaminants like fluoride. We have so much fluoride.
That one really scared me.
Yes.
I think before you move into a house, you need to call Anja with Revive, because the places that we can't mention some of them, I think they'll sue us, but very upmarket areas in this country where the fluoride is crazy. It's reaching. I wanted to tell you about fluoride because some places it makes your teeth brown, but that's a very small percentage compared to the one that begins to affect even the immune system, the neuro system,
and the bone structure.
You don't know that you're taking it, and stunts people. You're the expert. Tell us about this water situation.
Yes, so the World Health Organization and the Kenya Bureau of Standards have a limit of fluoride in drinking water of 1.5 parts per million, or 1.5 milligrams per liter. Yeah, that is safe. So if you look at bottled water, you'll always find it should be anyway, and most of the time it is 1.5 or less for safe drinking. We are finding levels in Nairobi as high as 22 parts per million from 1.5. Between 1.5 and 4 parts per million, it begins to brown your teeth. From 4 upwards, it starts to affect your bone structure. So we call that skeletal fluorosis. And what we have been learning more recently is that people who have ingested this long term, especially children who become teenagers and young adults, I've known now several families where these young adults do not have the energy to be able to take, for example, a full course load at the university, because they just don't have that strength and energy. And that has been traced back through research because of fluoride ingestion over time.
Yeah, so
and those were not even high levels. They were maybe at, well, still high, 5, 7. But
so 22 is
imagine
crazy.
22.
And I was even wondering whether you, I don't know, ethically you couldn't tell the other neighbors, because what you did is you went to do something with somebody's water and then found the levels of water are crazy. But and I felt so sad that every day you drove out of those homes and all these people don't know that their children are in danger. Anyway, the whole solution is, this is Governance Monday, test your water. Get somebody to come and test the fluoride levels in your water, because we love things. We build beautiful houses, beautiful homes, but you're not testing the water that you're drinking, consuming, or showering with. Please test your water.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, so because it stunts the growth of the children, brain-wise, everything, and then it will be too late for you to understand where the problem is.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Especially if it's gone on for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
And then water is, of course, related to sanitation. So sanitation is a journey I began around 2012. That's when I, through my brother, met engineer Dirk Maat in Canada. And because the relationship between sanitation and health and nutrition and water are all tied up, we could no longer look at just water and not sanitation. And sanitation statistics are even more horrifying than the water statistics. Yeah, because we have now 63% of the country, that's Kenya alone, who do not have access to safe sanitation. Now, safe sanitation is also sometimes called improved sanitation. Now, improved sanitation is either you have a flush toilet or a basic pit latrine with what they call the vent, it's called a VIP, and a cover on the hole. That's improved sanitation. And imagine 63% of the country do not have even that. Yeah? And, in my work in East and Southern Africa, I've been to many, many, many latrines, and they can be in a real bad state. One is solids build up. As a result, children fear using them. We've had testimonies in schools where young children, 4 or 5 years old, who were potty trained, but upon seeing the loo with the maggots and all, they actually revert. back to not being potty trained because they're just too scared to use the latrine.
I would be too scared to use the latrine. So I like that you have a product called Punguza. Anja, we've always said, I hope you're going to put it where Punguza is available, because, you know, once I think I had an event and people bought it. I'm telling you, after there were like calls and SMSs about where to find Punguza. So that's another practical solution. Where you have pit latrines and communities and schools, because the kids are so afraid. So go back to your old school. They're afraid to go into the toilets, number one, because of the maggots and everything. If it's higher levels of education, the smell, they have to leave their jumpers outside, go to the loo, and then come out, because the smell will attach to their jumpers, to their clothes, to their hair. So just going to the toilet is a nightmare. So please find the Punguza product. It works well with or without water, but you can, because you tried it in Kitui and other places.
Yes.
And then you can at least help them have a good experience, because how does Punguza work?
Right, so Punguza is nutrients that we import them from Canada, from engineer Dirk Maat, and they use it in large applications. So I worked on it here for the latrine application. Why should it just be for large applications like industries and municipalities, when yet the majority of our issue is actually with pit latrines? So I formulated it for use in a latrine. And what it does, it feeds the beneficial bacteria in the solids, the sewage solids. And when those become active, they overpower the negative bacteria. The negative bacteria are the ones that cause smell. The positive or beneficial bacteria are the ones who now don't cause any smell, and they digest the solids. So over time, the solids go down. So that becomes, again, a huge savings for a household, for a school, because they don't have to dig a new latrine.
Digging latrines. And I think the smell goes. So the smell goes, the insects go, the maggots definitely go.
Yes.
And you just mix it with water and put it in. Please help our community out. Take some to your school and to your village. It's a really amazing product. The people who have used it, you know, they've used it with, you know, that questioning thing of Kenyans of, then after that they're looking for it because it really works.
Yes.
And it's affordable. I think a bottle is
400 shillings.
And it can last how long?
1 month. Yeah. So for 3,600 shillings, 4 times 12. Yeah, 3,600 shillings. You've sorted yourself for a year.
For the pit latrine.
Yes.
And
plus, you're not making an investment in digging a new one.
Yes.
As long as the pit is
but also
structurally
increasing
sound.
the numbers of clean and safe sanitation.
Yes.
And that's what we want. At least you're increasing those numbers.
Yes.
And then I want to stop, and we're coming back next week with Anja to do the final session. So she'll be able to tell us whatever she wants to tell us. But celebrate your toilet, celebrate your shower. The Bible says, give thanks in all things. You better be giving thanks. And then you better be finding, you know, so let's wonder, how do I help? Help people find safe water, clean water, and help people to have sanitation that has dignity in it.
Yeah.
See you next Monday. God bless you. Bye-bye.